There are various ways to describe a tree. One could talk of the aroma of the fruits and the buds and the leaves. One could talk of the might, the size of the trunk. One could say the leaves are just so green. A number of ways. How it smells, how it looks, whether it is soft and smooth to touch or rough like the bark of the trunk. Or one could climb it up and describe one's own personal experience, what it means to climb, how the world looks like from a treetop, various ways. But the tree cannot be understood without the roots. And those who are in the business of trees, you understand business? Those who are involved with trees, those who have something to do with trees, since they are so much with trees, they talk of everything that's associated with trees. They cannot just keep talking of roots because everything else in a tree is just an expression of the roots, right? So even though it all begins from the roots, once it has begun, it is nothing but the roots that have surfaced over, become visible, taken forms, colors, fragrances. Seen how many different shapes leaves can take and sizes? So, those who are in the business of trees, they then talk of everything because to them, everything is now a beautiful, playful expression of the roots. Do you get this? They are not talking of the fruit as a fruit. They are talking of the fruit as the manifestation of root because they are in the business of trees. And the tree is, first of all, its roots. And since they know the tree, they also know that the tree, in some root like deep sense, has nothing but roots. There are roots beneath the surface in the soil, and there are roots that have sprung up from the soil above the surface. Right? Nevertheless, everything is just roots. Everything is just roots. So they can't limit themselves to talking of only the roots that are invisible. They say, no, we'll celebrate everything. We'll celebrate that which cannot be seen, but we'll also celebrate that which can be seen, touched, smelled, held. embraced, talked to, climbed over. Because all is just one. This too is an expression only of the roots. So sometimes we'll talk of the hidden, invisible, mysterious roots, the source of everything. We'll talk of that. And sometimes we'll talk of the expression of that source. That expression which is available to the eyes, to the ears, to the body, to the tongue. We'll talk of that. And in talking of all that which is available to the senses, it is not as if we have diminished in our loyalty to the roots. Why? Because all this that we are talking of, this too is just roots. So we cannot be accused of forgetting the roots and talking of the shoots or fruits. Let nobody accuse us. That which you see as fruit, I see as root. That which you call as shoot or trunk or bud, I see that as roots. Roots that have come up, roots that have expressed themselves. That is the position where the knowers come from. You get this? So often they talk of the world and they celebrate the world. But when they celebrate the world, they are celebrating the world as an expression of the roots, the source, the invisible one, the untouchable one. So there is the entire process, roots, and then there is the little first sprout, and you get the sapling, and and then it grows, and then it's a very tender plant, and then the entire process. Let's say the process has 10 steps, and they can celebrate any of these steps. And in celebrating any of these steps, they are celebrating just the roots. They can even celebrate the season when the tree has no leaves, the naked tree, and they'll celebrate it, because that too is a part of the entire process. In celebrating any part of the process, what is it that they are celebrating or worshipping? The roots, only the roots. Because to them, the entire thing is one. To them, the 8th step of the process is inseparable from the first step, because the 8th couldn't have happened without the first. Getting it? That's where they come from. But they have said what they had to, and it has come to us. And who are we? So when they talk of steps 5 to 8 of the whole process, we think they are talking of steps 5 to 8 only. And we say, well, this is what they want to say. This is what they want to say. No, they don't want to say this. They don't deem this important. Through this, they want to emphasize that which is the source, the beginning. Are you getting it? But if you do not look at it from the point they look at it, you will totally misinterpret what they want to say. You'll think they have said only this much. In fact, you may go on to hold a very dangerous conclusion, which is that since they're talking of this steps 5 to 8 and they're not talking of step 0, which is the roots, hence they are teaching us that 5 to 8 is important whereas 0 is not. You see, you have a particular verse in front of you and the verse is talking of steps 5 to 8. 5 to 8 is what the steps 5 to 8 of the expression of the roots. The roots express themselves, that's the entire process. And we are saying the process can be broken down into steps. And they come to you and they talk to you about steps number 5 to 8. And you may conclude that they are saying that 5 to 8 is important and we are not talking of step 0, so 0 is not important. Now they are saying we are celebrating 5 to 8 because 5 to 8 is nothing but 0. Because everything is an expression of the source. Hence we are celebrating 5 to 8, and by celebrating 5 to 8, through this celebration, this importance, this mention, we are actually worshipping the source, step 0. That's what they want to say. But we think because they're talking of this, so they're talking of this. And not only that, they're talking of this, they are saying don't talk of this. That's the conclusion we come to. Since they're talking of this, hence it's implicit that they are saying don't talk of this. Since they're talking of this, hence they are saying don't talk of this. It's so comfortable, convenient to come to this conclusion. Why? Because this is available to the senses. This is the part of the tree above the surface. It is available. You don't have to be subtle to hold a branch. You don't have to be subtle to pluck a fruit. Goats, sheep, donkeys, any of these can go to a tree and just satisfy themselves. The part that is above the surface is available even to donkeys. But that's not what the seers wanted you to remain. See, there is a tree, and what does the giraffe have all that long leg for? Even giraffes know how to deal with the parts of trees that are above the surface. Even giraffes know that. You don't need to be a wise man to deal with the part of trees that are available to the eyes, the senses. Some goat can go there and start chewing on the leaves. Some random goat. If the part above the surface is so very available, accessible, that even goat and donkeys can go and consume it, participate in it, then why should the knowers talk of the parts above the surface? Already answered, just checking. Tell me why. Because by talking of this, they are celebrating that which is invisible. By talking of the visible, steps number 5 to 8, they are celebrating, worshipping, admiring, exalting that which is invisible. Otherwise, what is above the surface is like fine. Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Crows sit there. All kinds of animals. He just signaled to me, am I needed in the conversation? You are very much the soul of the conversation. All scriptures have been addressing nobody but you. No Krishna ever hands over the Gita to another Krishna. The Upanishads were not meant for the realized ones. Come here. You see what is happening? If you don't see the process as one thing, then you will be fooled by the more charming steps of the process. And the roots of the process are often mostly invisible. What you can see is wonderful, but not central, not original, not primal. Are you getting it? If the roots be taken as the primary cause, then what you often see are the wonderful effects. And each effect in turn becomes the cause for another wonderful effect. And you see a succession of those charming effects. And you are enamored. Wow, wow, wow. So this thing led to this thing led to this thing. So let me worship this thing. Because all you can see is this much. Because you don't care to dig deeper. Huh? And the roots don't look charming, do they? They don't. Look at the colorful fruits. And one fruit comes in so many colors. To begin with, there is one color, then another color, then another color. Sometimes one fruit at one point has multiple colors. Seen a mango? A single mango can have red, yellow and green, all three colors. No? Wow. Like kids, we stand wide-eyed. Huh? But the roots, they are neither colorful nor juicy. Are they? Don't spoil the fun. Huh? Carrots are for, that's what you're talking of, right? Remember the cover page of our book, Jhanulal? Carrots are for? Huh. Why did you bring up carrots? Because they are the only juicy roots. To be safe, what the knower can do is he can keep talking just of the roots. But that will not be attractive anymore to the kids. No animal will be attracted. And it is for the animals that the wise one speaks. To attract the animals, what you need is colorful fruits, inviting leaves, all those things. And there is the possibility of misinterpretation. If you want to cancel that probability, then you have to talk purely of the moment you do that, you become boring. You become very boring. All the time saying, Nirgun Nirakar, can't be seen, can't be touched, can't even be thought of. Yeah, then why are you telling it to me? I can't see, I can't touch, I can't think of it. But when you are told of the effects of that cause, the cause in itself is invisible, unthinkable, and all those things. But the effects are not invisible to you. Are the effects invisible to you? No, the effects are not invisible. When you are told of the effects, then it is very compelling. You feel attracted. So, success. But this success becomes a failure. Why? You are attracted to the effects, and then you start thinking of effects as standalone entities. You forget that such an effect, such a beautiful effect, can come only from an invisible cause. That you forget. Because you have been talked to of the effects. I have called you to the mango tree by showing you the luscious fruits. Luscious fruits. I have not said, come here, I'll show you the roots. So you come to the tree and you partake in the mango sucking exercise. And when there is that juicy mango, that thing in your hand, and you're cupping it in your palm, has it ever occurred to you what kind of roots does it have? Anybody? Anybody here? See, that's the problem. If I talk to you of the roots, you will not come. If I show you the fruit, you will not think of the root. Now what to do? If I just say, come over, these are life-giving mango roots. And if these roots are there, then a lot of goodness would blossom on its own. If these roots are there, everything would be there. Powerful and deep roots mean a powerful, tall tree. And fruits you don't even have to think of. They are guaranteed. They'll come on their own. If I say, no, look at the roots are the real thing. You'll say, yeah, agreed, roots are the real thing. By the way, I have something to do. So the other extreme is, show the mango, then everybody will come. But they'll say, give us the mango, because the mango is a thing, a deal in itself. A standalone thing, a closed system, without understanding that the mango cannot come on its own. The mango has to come from something invisible. And unless you have love for that invisible thing, there would be no mangoes in your life. That's why we just, have a lot of shakes. What is a shake? Mango shake minus the mango. Bad one. Nobody got it. We want mangoes without understanding where the mango can come from. We want to believe a mango can drop from the skies. We behave as if a tree begins at the trunk. If I show you a banana and say this is a mango, you will say, don't fool us. But if I show you roots of banana and say these are roots of mango, you will be fooled. Because you have never cared about mango roots. All we care about is but you can't get the fruits without the roots. No, that's Maya. That's where we are stuck. And that's where every top scripture is stuck. To attract you, they'll be forced to make what can be called as compromises. They'll be forced to show you mangoes because you're kids, you won't be lured. How do you call kids? Mango. The kids come running. So, in a 700 shlok scripture, you'd obviously have a lot of verses that are talking of stuff above the ground. But because the scripture is a powerful one, a real one, an authentic one, it is also talking at a lot of places, in a lot of verses, about stuff that is below the ground. The trick is to relate everything that is above the ground. Even if there is a verse that is talking of stuff that is above the ground, the trick is to relate it to that which is below the ground. Only then you should be sure that you have gathered what they wanted to give. Are you getting it? The source is what the scripture attempts you to bring you to. And therefore, in every verse, the source must be remembered. Even if the source is not mentioned, it should still be remembered. It should still be seen. It should be read, even if it is not worded. Even if it is not in the words, read it between the words. Even if it's not in the sounds, hear it in the silence. But don't miss on the source. Because no verse is there to just glorify random stuff above the ground. The mango is glorious, the banana is glorious, this is wonderful, that is charming. All these things, even this one knows. So there is no big point in that. Getting it? Even when steps 4 or 5 of the process are being talked of, you should be careful that the process begins at 0. 4 and 5 are wonderful, but 4 and 5 should not be allowed to make me forget the 0. The true self is the source. Longing for true self is the method. That's it. Simple. All else just spontaneously follows. You don't have to plan it out. You don't have to think it through. It just happens on its own. The only thing that cannot happen on its own is your loving consent. Consent, by definition, is something that is not automatic. And if it is automatic or guaranteed or default, then it is not consent by choice at all. Right? If a box is already ticked and frozen, if a box of expressing your content, as you have on websites, I have understood and agreed to the terms, and if there's such a box and it's already ticked and you can't untick it, it's frozen, have you given your consent? Consent is there only when there is choice. So that's the only thing that cannot happen on its own. That's the only thing that you have to do. And once you have done that thing, all else happens on its own. And saints and seers and wise men, they often sing glories of the great things that happen after the consent. But those things are wonderful to look at, but also quite useless. Tell me why? Because they anyway happen on their own. They anyway happen on their own once the one thing that you need to do has been done. Not getting it. There is a series process, right? This. Like a waterfall, like a sequential waterfall. This happens, then this happens. There is a dam, a reservoir at the top. And following that, there are these cascading falls, sequential, in series. Each one more beautiful than the previous one. Each step of the fall more beautiful than the previous one. It's great to sing glories of all these steps, but it's also quite useless. Tell me why? Because it happens on its own. So I can be charmed when you describe all this to me. But really, I won't be helped. This happens on its own. The only thing that I can do, where my consent or my choice applies, is in unlocking the gates of that reservoir. That's the only place where I can do something. And once I have done that, all this beauty will automatically, naturally express itself on its own. I don't have to do much. The only place where I matter is up there, right at the source. That's the only place where I matter and my action has a consequence, some value. All other things, they just follow. They follow. They don't even seek my permission. Oh, they are beautiful things that happen. Such beauty happens to me, in me, outside me, to the world, through me. All those lovely things happen, but they happen just effortlessly, thoughtlessly, without any plan. They just happen. So you can picture all those things, you can videograph them, and it would look so beautiful. And one might think that the real thing is to work on these waterfalls. But you cannot work on them. It is impossible. When they happen on their own. The only thing that you can work on is your loving consent, your choices. That's the only thing that's of any consequence in Adhyatm, in the whole field of spirituality. All else is just description of the tree. And description of the tree doesn't help. It can charm. There's such beauty in all the spiritual songs. They're so alluring. So they can call you. They say they seduce you. All that is fine. But they can't on their own help you. They can't on their own help you. But they help you in an indirect way, nevertheless. What is the indirect way? Once you come to them, if by grace your curiosity is piqued, your inquiry is aroused, then you can go to the roots. And that was the intention when all the beauties were described. So, Saint Kabir, for example, would talk of the qualities of the surma. Does this, does that. Fearless. Purza kat mare tabhu na chhade ke. All those things. And you say, oh, I'll also do that. You cannot do that. He's describing the blossoming, the final blossoming of the tree. How can you have the final blossoming of the tree if the roots are rotten? Sometimes saints describe great love. Ghadiyali diyo nikalni. Let time stop. The beloved has arrived. And you feel like saying, no, I too want to participate in this. No, sir, you are ineligible. You can't. What Bulle Shah is describing is the final thing. It's beautiful to read, lovely to listen to, but in some deep sense, it is also useless. Because, because when it happens on its own. Just by singing that song, you will not come to the point where that song, that effulgence, just mysteriously springs forth. You can train yourself well. And there are professional singers who can sing that song so well, so well. Even Bulle Shah couldn't have sung that well. Mirabai wrote something, and today you have women who sing it so beautifully. When Mirabai would be awestruck. But you can sing it beautifully, professionally, with a lot of rehearsal, with a lot of finish. That doesn't make you Mirabai. Do you get this? Because to her it came on its own. She didn't rehearse. It was an expression of her being. To you, it is a rehearsed thing. It is not your being. It is just your vocal cords. You have trained them. And you will practice it 40 times. She probably uttered it spontaneously. Do you understand? A lot of energy has been wasted perfecting the later steps of the spiritual process. I'm saying wasted because those steps cannot be perfected on their own. It cannot happen. It is impossible. But we have never understood that. And gurus and their disciples, they have been talking therefore of all kinds of actions. Do this, do that, practice this. Sir, practice is the most useless thing. If there is one practice that you need to have, it is the practice of not accommodating yourself. Practice of not cheating yourself. And without these practices, all other practices fall flat. Getting it? What we have with us is one of the more famous verses of the second chapter. They sometimes call it the Kurma Sutra. So it says, read it and then tell me why I had to create this long, a 40-minute long background to enter into this. When, like a tortoise that withdraws its limbs from all sides under its shell, a person withdraws all his senses from the objects of the senses, then he is firmly established in wisdom. Pragya Pratishthit. So the analogy is quite visual and simple. So just as when a tortoise perceives some kind of danger, it just recedes, shrinks into its shell. All you will find is a shell. So the 4 limbs plus the head plus the tail, nothing would be visible. An inverted bucket, that's how it looks. Nothing is visible. And that armor is quite thick and resilient. The tortoise is safe there, more or less. Similarly, when the fellow withdraws all his senses from their objects, then he is established in wisdom. This is the sutra. Now, why did I have to create such a big preface or background for it?
Because it is a consequence of a loving choice and it cannot be perfected on its own.
And what has been the misfortune through the centuries?
We have been trying to emulate it.
Right. So now please tell me how this can be commonly interpreted.
That restrict yourself from the object and
Yes. To bring you to this point, I had to.
control your senses.
Yes. Yes. So this verse can be very easily misinterpreted to mean that you need to control your senses. When a charming thing appears there, just Rajdeep tucks even his tail in when there are women around. Who asked you to sit right here and catch my attention? If you don't want me to throw barbs, then hide somewhere there. He would have proven the best disciple Babaji can have. Some unfortunate moment he strayed this side. And since then I have been having fun with him. Do you see how easy it is to come to an erroneous conclusion when it comes to this verse? Please see. Please see. Liberation is so simple. All you have to do is just withdraw your senses from the world. And that's what has been mostly taught, and that's what the so-called religious man has been doing. And therefore all he gets is hypocrisy and failures. Because this cannot be done. It is impossible to do this. It can happen, but it can never be done. Please write this down. When it will happen, it will just happen. It will happen without your knowledge, without your effort, without your plans, without your agency. You would have shrunk into your shell and you won't even know that. That's the hallmark of the real happening. In contrast, when the false thing happens, it is always a contrived one. You understand contrived? What is that? Forged one. Both forced and forged. So very effortfully you will be, that's not happening. But you are trying your best and it still cannot happen. It is impossible for it to happen. So ultimately you turn a hypocrite and say it has happened. When it has not happened. I'm a true blue brahmachari. I run away from women. Even where there are no women. Had you really been a brahmachari, why would you be scared of women? Isn't that obvious? You're so scared of women. How women? But you are withdrawn because that's the most charming object the senses of a man, a male, rush to. And vice versa when it comes to women. The senses are towards men. When the real thing happens, it happens without your permission. You give your consent just once, and after that, your consent is not sought. Just once. Just once. Because you know what is the consent you are giving? You're giving your consent to being enslaved. And once you have been enslaved, who will seek your consent now? You're a slave now. Whose slavery am I talking of? Just once you say yes, and after that, nobody ever comes to ask you anything. Beautiful things then just happen on their own. Or you could say it is your consent to your death. Once you have signed your consent for your disappearance, would you ever be sought again for your consent? No, because you're already disappeared. You're already gone. Who exists to say yes or no now? Are you getting it? So the real thing, when it happens without your consent, on its own. Somebody else might notice, you will not notice. On the other hand, when fake things happen, you force others to notice it, even when there is nothing worth noticing. Don't you think I have developed good biceps now? Sir, if you are living a healthy lifestyle, please notice my lips, how red and glistening they are. Had you been really living well, the lips would have been all right on their own. But they're not all right. So you're doing all kinds of antics. And on top of that, applying filters. And getting angry with those who don't notice. Are you getting it? This withdrawal is not something you can rehearse, please. The only thing you can practice is not making an ass of yourself. Internal honesty. That is the only thing in your hands. I will be honest to the truth. I will not cheat myself. When in this, what is this myself? The true self. I will not cheat the true self. This inner honesty is everything. If this inner honesty is there, in some way or the other, every other auspiciousness will follow. And if this inner thing is not there, you can keep rehearsing till the end of time. All you will have is wasted energy, wasted time, and a lot of hypocrisy. So he does not do this. Repeat with me. He does not do this. The wise one, the one established in pragya pratishthit. He does not do this. It happens. It is a sign. It is an outcome. It is an effect. It is a symptom. It is not the cause. Even if it looks like a cause, there is a cause below this cause, and there is a cause below this cause, there is a cause below this cause. And spirituality is about addressing the root cause. If you don't address the root cause and keep addressing intermediate causes, then you will not go far. Getting it? I don't want to come with you. Why? I don't have nice sandals. I don't want to come with you. And look at her sandals. And they, in fact, look broken. And you bring her a new pair of sandals. So, right, that was probably a cause. She was refusing to come with you. Was that the root cause? Is there love? Had there been love, probably one would come barefoot. So by bringing her the sandals, you have in some way addressed a superficial cause. But that's not the real cause. The real cause is there is no love. Loving consent is missing. All our life we have problems and we keep treating superficial causes. And those treatments bear some results, fine. And we say, see, how smart I am. Brought her new sandals. The kid was sulking, gave him some money. And when you give the kid some money, maybe the kid, for a moment, does feel good. Was that the real cause? I don't know. Maybe the kid needed a father more than money, or a friend more than money. But when you ask him, he would say, I'm not good because I don't have money. So you give him money. Is money a cause? Yes, it is. Is money the root cause? No, it is not. Because when there is a process, every step is a cause. And every next thing is an effect of that cause. Right? Don't get lost there. Address the root cause, the source, the srot, the adi, the udgam. And if that is addressed, the wonderful thing is you don't have to address anything else. That makes the liberated one the smartest one. Did one thing and never had to do another thing. What do you do? Just one thing. And after that I do. But then so much, it happens. This so much that you see is just happening. I don't do it. But you look like doing it. It happens through me. It happens through me. I don't do it. I threw it. I threw it. I let it happen. I don't make it happen. You get the difference? I let it happen. And the worldly man or the lok dharmic man, he keeps making things happen. I am still not able to withdraw all my senses. Dam laga ke haisha. What dam laga ke haisha? It's not happening. Push it harder. Come on. Show us you can do it. It still won't happen. But to save face, you will say, today I succeeded. Goodness, these things are just so tough. A hard nut to crack. There is no nut to crack. You are the only nut out there. Crack yourself. That's all. Getting it? How many of you find work very effortful, very demanding? Please tell me, how many of you get tired? You see where the whole thing is coming from. Hmm? You are trying to make it happen. And you are an obstruction in the way of letting it happen, which is so stupid. It wants to happen, but you obstruct it. And then you want to make it happen in your own way. Get out of your own way, please. That's the favor you need. If it's the real thing, it will happen. It doesn't even demand your cooperation, it will happen. It just demands that you don't obstruct. But firstly, you obstruct and then you say it is not happening, so let me try harder. And then you get tired and you say, this work is not worth it. I never get to complete it. Because the obstruction is the ego that is this big. That is the only obstruction. The falseness that we want to preserve, defend. Equally, the Kurma Sutra could have been like some other animal. That becomes really still on perceiving danger. The wise one becomes really still and then he is called established in wisdom. Equally, the sutra could have read this. Very equally. And would have been much the same thing. And then the reader would have thought that Krishna is imploring him to stand still, and he would have then tried practicing standing still. And there are a lot of traditions in which standing still is actually practiced. Not just mentally standing still, but also physically standing still. Stand still. They say this is the most difficult thing in the world, to stand still. And all kinds of glories are attached to stillness. And stillness is actually glorious, but not the cultivated and rehearsed kind of stillness. That is nonsense. Silence is glorious, but not silence of the kind where you are on an agenda. No, I'm going to be silent for the next 48 hours or 2 weeks. That's nonsensical. Because in doing that, you are actually conspiring against yourself. You are saying, I will practice step 5, 6, and 7 just so that I can avoid step 0. Do you see how these are subtle conspiracies? Far from being spiritual, these are the things that rally against real spirituality. By doing all those things, you start thinking, I am spiritual. But actually, by doing those things, you have very cleverly avoided real spirituality. Are you getting it? The withdrawal of senses will happen on its own. Because senses are not autonomous, are they? Does your tongue pop out on its own? Does it happen? No. You do that. The arms don't just randomly start flying hither thither, do they? No, you do that. No sense is autonomous, at least not fully autonomous. Who writes the senses as the master? The ego, that's it. That's it. Me. I am the controller of the senses. If I am all right, the senses will be all right. I don't need to rehearse at the level of senses. I need to rehearse or practice or do the right thing at the level of the ego. That's what needs to be set right. And everything else falls in place. But when you don't want to address the root cause because you want to actually defend it, all that the ego does throughout its life is self-preservation. No? I know I am false, therefore my sole business is to somehow defend myself. When you don't want to address the root cause, you give yourself some other kind of entertainment. Spirituality is that entertainment, which is designed to fail, which is designed to never succeed, but to give you the moral satisfaction that you are a good man. You're not a good man. You're a very cunning man. You're avoiding the real thing deliberately. Don't say, no, but all are trying in their own particular ways. No, this is not a particular way. This is a very cunning way. Because there can be only one way, because you are one thing, not 50 things. And because there is just one thing that you want, not 50 things, so how can there be 50 ways? There can be only one way. But by doing all those random other things, by talking of the twigs and the leaves and the insects on the leaves, all kinds of micro things you engage yourself with just to avoid the real thing. On all Tuesdays, exactly at 2:42 p.m., should all married women bring a pot of haldi sourced only from the hills. Micro details, so that, and if you do that, then all kinds of prosperity and auspiciousness would befall your house. Micro details, so that you get lost in it and so that you miss out on the real thing. Don't say, no, we are also religious in our own way. You're not religious, you're anti-religion. This is not another kind of religion, this is anti-religion. The mark of the real scripture will be this. What is this? One. Ek. One at the level of our devotion, and not even one at the level of itself. In itself it is not even one, advait, non-dual. But when it comes to our devotion, to whom should we be devoted, it is one. That's the mark of the real scripture. Real scripture, real process, real spirituality, whatever. When you are devoted to the one, beautiful things will come to you. But don't care for those beauties. And then even more beautiful things will come to you. But you never care for them. Care for the one. If that one is there, all these beautiful things will keep coming on their own. Don't ask for them, don't demand them, don't just push them away either. If they have come, they have come. That's fine. That's fine. Indriya Nigrah will happen. Yoga will happen. Sannyas will happen. Tell me of any lofty thing and it would happen. Even material prosperity can happen. Not guaranteed, but probably even that can happen. Let that happen. We never asked for it. If it has happened, it has happened. That was not my purpose. My purpose was the one. And if in being devoted to the one, I face poverty, let that be. Let that be. There is spring and there is autumn. Sometimes there are a lot of leaves, an entire riot of leaves, and sometimes there is just not even a single leaf. That's fine. The root is intact. Seasons have changed, the root has not. So all these things that the worldly man or the so-called religious man, the lok dharmik man, has to strive for so much and put in so much effort for and still not achieve. The truly spiritual man achieves them without doing, without effort. And when he achieves them, he does not even notice. He does not even come to know that he has achieved, because he never cared or bothered for these things. He cared or bothered only for the one. So when Mano Nigraha happens, it's fine. If it has happened, it has happened. Real brahmacharya then happens. He does not even know that he is a brahmachari. You ask him, so you are practicing brahmacharya? He will say, no, I practice nothing. If things happen, they happen. I don't even know what is brahmacharya. I am in love, that's all. Do we hear Lao Tzu laughing in a corner? Truth that can be known, not truth at all. He said Tao, not truth, but love that is practiced is not love at all. Virtue that is scripted or known in advance is not virtue at all. All kinds of fruits we find on this tree: virtue, compassion, love, honesty, courage, kindness, realization, insight. All kinds of things are there. They come on their own. They come on their own and you don't even want them. Yeah, I don't want to be virtuous. And you are supremely virtuous and you are saying, I don't care to be virtuous. Take away all these virtues. The pinnacle of virtue. When you say, I don't even, you are now truly respectable and you say, hey, keep your respect aside. I don't want your respect. Now is when you are respectable. Are you getting it? Don't practice the intermediate things. Practice the root thing. The intermediate things are all wonderful, glorious, charming, but they will happen on their own. And if you find that they are not happening, don't start working on them. Start working on the root thing. If you find that your senses are just too drawn towards the world, don't start working on the senses. Start working on yourself. Don't be like the tennis player. Some of them are known to break 8 or 10 rackets in a single match. When things are not going their way, they blame it on the racket. Why blame the senses? This you can call a sense, right? Right? This is a karmendriya. The racket is an extension of this karmendriya, is it not? So why work on the indriya? Work on yourself. Work on yourself. Let the indriya be. Yesterday some of you were wondering what is the nada for. And I was wondering, how come you are wondering? Today Sri Krishna has come over to explain the question asked yesterday. It's not a stronger nada that you need. You need deeper love. And then, even without any nada, you would be all right. Okay, before you ask the question. So, let me take you step by step from the source to the point of the tortoise. So, the source is love for the truth, and therefore contempt or despise for all that is neti neti. So proceed step by step from there to this point. Show me how we will reach there. If this is there, if the process of neti neti through self-observation is there, from there how will you reach this point? You will look at your present situation, right? You will look at your present situation. And in looking at your present situation, you see that you are already attracted to so many objects. Already attracted to so many objects, right? Then you will ask what these objects have given you so far, right? And when you are not charmed by those objects, you are in the questioning mode, you will ask whether the next object in queue is fundamentally different from the objects you have already embraced in your past or are currently embracing. Next, the answer will be no. Next, your motivation, your desire to extend, stretch out towards those objects will diminish, and then you will come back. So if you have self-observation, this withdrawal will organically happen. Is that clear? Whereas without self-observation, this withdrawal can only forcibly happen, only temporarily happen, and only and only fruitlessly happen. Because the one within is still clamoring for all the objects, because he has not learned his lessons, because he does not know what he has been doing, because he does not look at himself. He does not look at himself, so he wants to blindly carry on. And there is an infinitude of diverse objects. So having failed with a few objects, he will try out new ones. And then he'll keep stretching himself out and out. This withdrawal is an organic thing when it happens. This is a result of self-knowledge. The more you know yourself, the more the world loses its usual charm.